Hey there guys, this is Sam
and Justin
at the Survival Review, and today we are going to be talking about the very unique addition to the X-Men franchise, Logan.
Yes. This movie for me was my most anticipated of the year behind Star Wars, because sure, the X-Men movies have their flaws, and I know a lot of people aren't fans of them, but I, for the most part, like them, a lot of them, and I have a lot of nostalgia for this franchise. Seeing that, like, these movies started coming out when we were both kids. Mm-hmm. And I even have memories of seeing X-Men 2 in theaters when I was, like, 6 years old. So I always had, like, a soft spot for the X-Men movies. And that's actually why I don't mind that they haven't rebooted it yet.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people want them to. So, as you can tell, going into Logan, the last movie with Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, there's high expectations, for me especially.
Not as high for me, because I'm not... he's the one wearing the X-Men shirt. He's obviously a bigger fan of the series than I am. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the movies for the most part, too. There's obviously the bad ones, along with the good ones.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy the good X-Men movies. So I had pretty good expectations for this movie going into it.
It did not disappoint.
No, it went above and beyond my expectations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this movie is incredible.
It's the best superhero movie I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yes, definitely. It's so different and unique from any other comic book movie in the way that it doesn't even feel like a superhero movie.
No, it has drama and emotion that's on par with a lot of really dramatic and emotional films.
Yeah. And then the movie, tone-wise, is so bleak.
Yeah.
Very depressing.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're not supposed to take your kids to this movie because it's rated R, because of, like, the violence and the language. That's not why I wouldn't take a kid to see this movie. I wouldn't take a kid to see this movie because it's so depressing.
Yeah. I mean, along with that violence,
yes.
This movie definitely doesn't hold back on that.
No, this is the Wolverine we've always wanted to see.
Yes. Seriously, it lives up to the R.
This isn't just like, hey, let's put a little bit of blood here and there, just a couple F words here and there. They'll make it R. This is a full-blown hard R.
They're
movie.
not afraid to say fuck.
Holy fuck.
All the time.
That's the opening line of the movie.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fuck. Like, really. So, yeah, like, the tone of this movie is so bleak and depressing, but it's not like a complete downer of a movie.
No.
There's still funny moments. There's moments of levity that actually work really well and don't feel out of place or weird.
Yeah, the humor worked really well with the tone of the movie. Nothing felt out of place.
Yeah, so the plot of the movie is that it takes place far off into the future. I'm not going to say if it really takes place after Days of Future Past or not, because, the timelines are all screwed up, and there's a lot of things in this that contradict that ending of Days of Future Past. Not just the fact that every mutant is dead, and everybody was happy at the end of Days of Future Past, just other stuff that contradicts it. Most, or enough, if not all mutants are gone, basically, been wiped out, and it's just Wolverine is living just on the edge of the border, just making a living as a limo driver, just living this really shitty life while he's taking care of Xavier, who's getting up there in age.
Yeah, he has a degenerative brain disease of some kind, and that's obviously dangerous for a guy like Xavier, as his brain can affect everyone around him.
He's like one of the most powerful mutants out there, so that's very dangerous, and Wolverine is just constantly buying like drugs off the black market just to sedate him and keep it down, and he's saving up to buy this boat so they can just go off and just get away from all this stuff, and of course that doesn't go as planned.
No.
Things get in the way, including this little girl who seems to have the same mutant abilities as Wolverine, and this government agency wants her. So now Logan, Xavier, and the girl are on the run trying to get away from these government guys who are after them.
Yeah. So the whole movie from that point on kind of takes place as like a chase to get to their destination.
Yeah.
Which is like this safe zone.
Yeah. And this movie plays off like a Western.
A little bit, yeah.
Really, especially the first half of the movie.
There's even a scene where the girl is watching a Western on the TV.
They're watching Shane, which is like a classic Western movie. So, like, of course, there's parallels between that. But just like the first half of this movie, I was watching it, it just felt like a modern Western, or futuristic kind of, because it's in the future. But like a modern Western movie. There's even a scene where they jump the train tracks
Yep.
to get away from the guys pursuing them. Like, it just felt like a Western set in modern day, and I just love that.
Yeah, it was great. But along with that Western feel, it kind of goes into the setting of the movie. There's no, like, fancy lights or anything. It's not a bright movie.
Yeah.
It's very dirty and very, very much just in the desert or in forests.
Yeah, and the setting of the movie, like, the trailers almost made it look like it was, like, post-apocalyptic. But it's actually not. It's in just, like, a regular, like, society.
Yeah.
It's just farther on in the future. And also, it's not too futuristic, which I liked.
Yeah, it's like the not too distant future.
Yeah,
Like-
like things are a little bit sleeker and a little bit nicer looking, but still just like a regular, normal world.
And it's all very believable stuff.
There's no hover wheelchair like in Days of Future
No.
Past.
It's nothing over the top like that. It's all very...
Very grounded, which is the best way to describe this movie, that it is a very grounded film. And performances-wise, every performance in this movie is outstanding.
Yeah. Every single person, including the little girl.
Yeah.
It's
I don't think this will happen, but this movie does deserve some awards recognition.
Yeah.
I definitely say, like, I could see Oscar nominations for Patrick Stewart especially.
Yes.
Even Hugh Jackman, but I feel like the one who really steals the show is Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
This movie, he's incredible. It's so interesting to see this different take on a character we've seen for all these years, and we know him as a certain type of character, and to see him done differently, but by the same actor, was just, like, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because he plays almost like a senile old man at times, and also he's very foul-mouthed, which is what you never expect Xavier to be like, but it all works. It doesn't feel out of character. It feels a little bit, but, like, it's an understandable out of character. It's a character reaching a point in his life where he's past the old wise man that he was earlier.
Yes.
And I thought he was incredible.
He was fantastic.
And even Hugh Jackman was great. There's a lot of great scenes where he's able to act and show off his dramatic range and have emotion, which you don't get to see a lot of in comic book movies.
Yeah. He is a broken man in this movie.
Yeah.
He's reached his end. Like, even in the movie, like, The Wolverine, he's kind of at a point where he's breaking down, and he's at a point where he almost doesn't even want to be alive anymore after all these years.
Yeah.
But this movie...
This is that times 10.
Yeah. He's really, really, right from the start of the movie,
my God.
he is weak, and you can tell that he's reaching his end.
Yeah, because the adamantium in his bones is starting to make him sick, actually. So his healing power isn't as good. He still heals, but not very fast, and it leaves wounds. Or even like a little bit at the beginning there where his claw doesn't come out all the way.
Yep.
And just stuff like that where he is broken. And the movie starts out very depressingly.
Yeah.
It's not a happy movie.
No, not at all.
And then also with acting, the actress playing Laura, or X-23, this is her first movie, and that's surprising.
Yes.
Even though she doesn't have a whole lot of lines in this movie, she doesn't talk till, like, later on in the film, her performance is great, just from, like, her expressions.
Yes.
And everything. It was so surprising to see that.
That's actually one of the things that I liked, was that there's a point where she's shouting at him in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked that they didn't put any subtitles, because you didn't need to know what she was saying.
Yeah.
Her performance gave off exactly what she was feeling just fine. You knew what she was yelling at him about.
Yeah.
And she did really, really well.
And if you can find, like, one kind of flaw with, like, the casting is that the villains, they're all well acted. They're not bad or anything, but the villains don't leave that much of an impact.
Yeah. They're all kind of just a bit there.
Yeah.
If anything, they were overshadowed by just these great performances as these great characters.
Exactly. And then you get to the action scenes.
Yes.
Which are insane.
They're fantastic. There's not too many.
No.
But when they're there, they're fantastic.
And again, this movie does not hold back. Limbs fall off and just...
Heads get cut off.
Yeah, people get stabbed through the face. And this is a hard R. And it's amazing. But there's one action scene, I don't want to get into it actually, but it takes place in the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
That was just so amazingly well done and so unique in the context of the story, just in the context as an action scene, that I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
That hotel scene was incredible.
Or even just right off the bat, the opening scene of the movie is these guys are trying to take the wheels off his car, and he's just like, guys, please, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
And they shoot him, and that's...
You know where it goes from there.
Exactly. But it plays off, the way the action goes is unlike any other portrayal of the Wolverine, because he's weak and he's frail, but he's also obviously going to just murder all of them.
Yeah,
So-
in the most brutal, crazy ways possible.
Yeah.
So for flaws with the movie, very minor.
Yeah, this
flaws.
is a very minor thing, but I pointed it out after the movie, and I think you agreed with me on it.
For the most part, but not completely.
One of the villains in the movie, we won't really name him just for spoilers'
Yeah,
sake.
he comes in near the last half of the film.
Yeah, he's a little bit. He doesn't really fit in with the tone of the movie very well. He's the most comic booky feeling thing in the movie.
Yeah, and I felt there's other ways they could have gone with that character and that they could have done differently.
Yeah, it felt like he was there just for the sake of needing something to fight.
Yeah, needing, because we need a character for Wolverine to actually fight in the climax of the movie, since he can't really get into a fight with the actual villains because they're not, mutants or anybody with real special abilities.
Yeah.
And I thought that could have been done differently, but I feel the way they handled it in the movie was actually well handled. It wasn't, they didn't overdo it. It wasn't excessively silly like it could have been. It could have been really silly and really bad, and it was handled a lot better than it could have been.
And that's why I say it's a minor gripe, because the way they did it was the best they could have done with that sort of character.
Yeah.
So, very minor thing, but it's something worth noting.
And I would say, I was really into the movie, completely for, the first 2 acts. But there's one part kind of near the end, right before the climax, the movie kind of slows down a little, and it did kind of lose me a little bit. I'm not saying I wasn't enjoying it at all.
Kind of a tiny bit of Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
For a little moment of the movie, definitely not anywhere near as
ridiculous
movie stopping as that. But,
exactly.
But the same sort of thing.
When we get to the ending of the movie, the way they send off the character Wolverine, I feel was done flawlessly.
Yeah, without a doubt, it was
very emotional.
Yeah.
Very emotional. There's a lot of emotional scenes in this movie.
Definitely.
There's a lot more times fight back those tears. You can do it. But especially having a lot of nostalgia for this franchise and being along for this ride, actually since the beginning. This ending and a lot of stuff in this movie really got to me. It was very emotional, but the ending was done perfectly. And the final shot of the movie was perfect.
It was
so well done.
It was great.
So amazing. Such a great film. Such a unique comic book movie.
Yes.
I know Deadpool opened the door for R-rated superhero movies.
Yeah.
But the thing about Deadpool is, even though it's a popular character with the comic book community and fans, it wasn't as well known to the general public.
Yes.
Whereas Wolverine is something that we've been seeing for 17 years, and for them to actually go all out and do an R-rated thing is, I feel, definitely opening the doors even further than what Deadpool did. Because now it's we can have characters that we love and know in an R-rating setting, and it can work and still be a successful movie and still be very good.
Yes.
This doesn't even feel like a studio movie.
No.
This feels like a guy wrote a script and said, here's a movie I want to make. And Steve's like, okay, yeah. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like a movie that a studio put together. There's no scene where the movie's oh, this is very unique, and all of a sudden at the end he fights a giant robot samurai.
Yeah.
But this movie, it doesn't feel like a studio meddled with it or messed with it at all. It just feels like they let James Mangold, the director, and Hugh Jackman just go out and make the movie they wanted to make. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fox, for actually letting them do that.
Thank you for not interfering so much and letting people make a good movie.
Can you call up DC and tell them what to do? So, out of 10...
Out of 10, I've got to give it just a 9 out of 10. It wasn't a perfect movie, like I said, there are some minor gripes, but this was as close to a perfect comic book movie for me.
I'm going to give that 9.5 out of 10. Almost a 10. Almost perfect. Again, had those few minor flaws, kind of took it down from a perfect rating, but still just a damn great friggin' movie. Thank you, Hugh Jackman. It's sad to see you go, but this is the best way to go out. This is the perfect movie to go out on.
All stories have to have an end, and
it worked out masterfully.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome film.
So yeah, that's about all we've got to say about this one.
Yeah.
At some point down the line, we want to talk about the rest of the X-Men franchise. And maybe we'll talk about this one some more at that point. Yeah,
every time a new X-Men movie comes out, we're saying we're going to do reviews of the X-Men movies, and then we never do them.
Yeah.
We were going to do that when Apocalypse came out, and we didn't. We didn't even review Apocalypse, actually. We're so random with our movie reviews. Yeah. Everyone gets a chance to, we review. But yeah, we want to, at some point down the line, talk about every X-Men movie, and we mean everyone, including the shit ones. Even ones that I already reviewed myself. I've reviewed the Wolverine, Days of Future Past, and Deadpool. Even that we're going to re-review just with us two. And then so we're going to do a review of Logan at some point that we're going to go a lot more in depth on and just delve into it even more.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's about all we've got to say about this for now.
Yep.
So until those other movies, we'll see you guys later.